All right, everyone, I have 3 o'clock. And again, good afternoon to everyone. It's always good to see each other, and it's also good to be seen and also see back. So all of us see each other. That means we have a chance. So trust everyone had a great weekend. So with that, I am calling the meeting to order. And at this time, Councilman Bailey, I would ask that you lead us with the invocation, please.
Be proud to. Everyone, please bow your heads. Thank you, most gracious, dear, loving Heavenly Father. We thank you for each day that you give us. None of them are promised, but all of them are a blessing. Each one of them is a gift from heaven. Thank you for all that you bestow upon each and every one of us, individually and collectively as a unit. Grant us the wisdom and the guidance and the patience, Lord, to do our job to serve this city and serve it well. Lord, give us the wisdom to conduct the business of the city as it needs to be conducted. Bless each and every worker of the city, each and every employee, department head, each and every citizen. Lord, as we come to you today, we come to you always in hopes that you will fulfill your promise to us by always being with us, never leave us, never forsake us. That's a promise, Lord, that no one else in this world can make. It's a promise that we don't deserve, but it's a promise that you made to us. And I, for one, Lord, am thankful that you never do leave me. You never will forsake me. Make me hungry for your wisdom. Make me hungry to please you. Make me hungry to listen to your word as I read your word in the Bible, Lord. Help each one of us to always hold our heads up and do what we know to be right, know what we know to be truthful. Lord, as this country prepares again for another storm to hit down around Louisiana, Lord, keep all those people in our prayers, all the cities and everybody that's going to be affected by it. Let us all do what we can do for them and hope that this storm will not be bad, will not cause catastrophic danger and trouble for each person. Lord, guide us and direct us. Keep our hearts pure and our minds pure. Keep us always looking forward to you and listening to you and you only, Lord. For you know all the wisdom and all the things that are to come and all the things of the past. Continue to bless each and every one of us in our households. Guide our city, guide our nation. Keep everything wholesome and above board. Let us do the best job we can, Lord, and lead us always and never let us forget you. These things I ask in the most precious name there is, Jesus Christ, my risen Savior. Amen.
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 Thank you, Councilman Bailey. Let me step away to turn my air conditioner down. It's getting a little warm in here. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Councilman Bailey. Jimmy, are you okay? I see you standing. I guess you can't hear. All right.
I didn't know where you stand.
And we have no one that would like to request by Zoom at this time.
Hey, I can hear you, Mayor. I just was on mute.
Oh, okay. I see you standing up, so I guess you're okay. We will continue council on the Planning Commission, the September the 8th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. At this time, I'd like to call on our city engineer, Angel.
Yes, sir. We did have one item on the Planning Commission agenda. It was a request for waiver, Connect Acres, 34 plus or minus acres, located on US Highway 80 West, JD Real Properties, LLC, Gil Dyer owner. The waiver they were requesting, I don't know if you can look at the plat that's in your packet. They were going to put in a new subdivision road that would access off of Highway 80, but they had 2 lots that were going to abut the existing Connect Drive that is there, that is maintained by Russell County. Our subdivision regulations do not allow what we call double frontage lots. Basically, we want them to take access from just one road. So what the city had a meeting along with the attorneys, with Mr. Dyer and their engineers, and it was determined that they are going to put up a privacy fence on track 1 and track 4, so that the whoever purchases those cannot take access from Connect Drive there. And from that point, they're going to put on the final plat that no access shall be given from that road, and that all access shall be taken off of the new subdivision road. And also, it was determined that on track 1, any type of access that they put back there would need to meet our fire code requirements since they are in our planning and police jurisdiction. Planning Commission discussed it. They didn't have any issues with the waiver and they did approve it. And we expect them to be coming back very soon for a preliminary plat approval.
Okay. Thank you, Angie. Any questions or comment?
So am I to understand once they do what they're supposed to do, the city would, I mean, everything would go through, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, let me just see if I understand as much as possible because it kind of taps into District 2 headed out that way. So there will be approximately 13 lots in this proposed subdivision. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Some of them will be residential and some will be commercial.
Okay, so the ones on the front I'm seeing, those are commercial lots. Those are included within the 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has the property owners established what type of commercial businesses that will go there?
No, ma'am. They have not given us any indication of what businesses would go there.
Okay. Coming off of Highway 80, off US 80 into Connect Acres. So would that be what we call a decelerated lane to get in there, or they just coming straight off of US 80?
They're going to have to get a permit from ALDOT since that's ALDOT's right of way. And I'm not sure what exactly ALDOT will require them to do, but it will more than likely they're going to require them to do some type of deceleration and acceleration lane.
Okay, so I did, I see where, you know, your recommendations from the engineering department. It does not meet the requirements of such Article 5 and Section 5E of subdivision regulations regarding that double footage lots. But you're saying that you have no issues with approving the waiver based on these proposed improvements. And so looking at it from a longevity standpoint, when residential property owners become part of that subdivision, I think we're running into this, and you can just let me know. I mean, it seemed like from what I've been hearing, this is, I'm not gonna say the norm, but for lack of a better term, this is becoming the norm now, that we will approve waivers like this with this one-way access. Is that becoming a norm, or have you seen that as a norm, trying to get these preliminaries approved?
Ms. Johnson, since I've been here at the city, this is the first waiver that I'm aware of that they've ever approved for a double frontage lot. And the only reason we decided to do this was because they did go in and say that they would put these notes on the final plat. So when a homeowner or somebody comes in to purchase that lot, they'll have a copy of the final plat and their attorney should go over all those notes. But we will also be saving ourselves in the process too, because we will have it in a recorded plat if we ever have to go out there and say, okay, you're not supposed to put in this driveway here and here's why.
What I think is happening here, to give you a clear understanding of that, Ms. Johnson, what she's saying, when it did meet the certain specs that she was talking about, the reason why we're going with the waiver is because they are blocking that off to make sure it never becomes what it didn't meet. See, by putting the fence up, that's making sure they don't do what they shouldn't do where it violates something. So that's why I was able to meet being taken a look at for to be a waiver, you know, because it's not, you know, they blocked that off. So they couldn't go against that. And far as, you know, looking at the way in with this is not a regular type subdivision where you would be talking about one way in and one way out if it was 60 plus homes. It's different. This is totally different than what that would be. You know, but this is a commercial small. This is small in comparison to what you would be talking about when you're talking two ways in and out, as far as that part.
Okay, having to have the minimum number of residential homes required one or two access or more access.
This is small. And you also have another avenue outside of here where when you go in here, if you go, on the back part, going in from the back and coming, that stops that, though. I forgot that stops that. So this is relatively small compared to regular subdivisions.
Mm-hmm. They did say a privacy fence, so I'm assuming that would be a fence. Okay, so wood. Okay.
That was part of the agreement when we met, that those bodies of land would go so far back and then they would be blocked off by that fence so no one could put a back driveway out onto the streets there.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out real good.
But also, does this kind of make it, I don't want to say feasible, but maybe doable because it's a major street, Angel? Does that have, that because it does abut a major street, which would be 80, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir. But I think the most issue is that we would want them to abut, or that we would want them to come out on Highway 80 instead of that drive, because it's really not up to our standards.
And because of that, then it is maybe a little more feasible to do it the way, or to waive it because of that.
And the city attorneys, they were at the planning commission meeting. Mr. Graham was there by Zoom and Mr. McCoon was there in person. And Mr. McCoon did attend the meeting that Mr. Hunter had with all the department heads and the developers. And the only reason we recommended approval of this waiver is because that the developer said he was going to go do this extra stuff to prevent it from being a double frontage lot.
Okay.
Can I say something, Mayor?
Sure.
Mayor, I just want to say thank you to Angel, thank you to the city attorneys and Mr. Hunter and all for sitting down with Gil and Tim Simpson and them and working something out that was workable for everybody. I know Gil had brought about 3 different plans, to the planning commission and everybody, and none of them would work. And I just appreciate the city sitting down and come up with a way that this could work and work well for everybody. And Gil can move forward with his project. And hopefully there'll be other projects out that way, whether he's invested in them or someone else is invested in them to help our city grow. It's only 13, 14 lots, something like that in that area, which is basically in most of the neighborhoods that we live in town. We got 13, 14 houses on one street already in our neighborhood. So it's not going to be a large issue, but it was an issue that I'm tickled to death to see us sit down, and also the owners to sit down with our city and agree that our city, is willing to work with people to come up with a way that things will work and move our city forward. So I'm just tickled to death we were able to do that. Mr. Hunter and them did a good job. Mr. McCoon, Jimmy, Graham, and all of them did a good job sitting down with them, making sure that this could work. And I just, don't believe we'll ever have any issues come off of this whatsoever. I believe this is going to move in there, do real well. Then eventually they'll locate everything out on Highway 80 for commercial, and the city will see, some good money coming back from that eventually. So I'm just pleased that it worked out so good for everybody, and want to thank everybody at the city for being willing to sit down at the table and listen. And I'm tickled to death that Gil Dyer and them sat down at the table and listened to the city. It takes both of us to get along and do well, and I think we came to a good conclusion on this. So thank you very much for y'all doing that.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Any other questions or comment?
One last question, Mr. Mayor. Angel, did they specify after the final approval how soon they'll begin this project? Or they looking at first quarter of next year, or give us a time frame?
No, ma'am, they haven't given us a time frame. Like I said, the next process they'll have to go through is getting the preliminary plat approved. And then after that, they can start submitting construction plans, but we have not been given a time frame from the developer yet. No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Angel.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next, Mrs. Leaf, under the city clerk, the September, October calendars and upcoming board appointments. Mrs. Leaf.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to go over a few dates on the calendar. September the 15th, tomorrow, our council meeting is at 6 p.m. Eastern Time at the 5th Street Southeast Center in person. And in October, our meetings are lining up on October the 5th on a Monday, our work session at 3 p.m. followed by Tuesday, October the 6th, our council meeting at 9 a.m. Far as I know, those two meetings will be by Zoom. We have a holiday, October the 12th, Columbus Day. And then our two meetings winding up October the 19th, our work session at 3 p.m. and October the 20th, our council meeting at 9 a.m. Far as I know, both of those meetings will be by Zoom. Then on the board appointments for upcoming in October, there's the Improvement District. The gentleman that's coming up for appointment on that one has indicated that he would not mind being reappointed if y'all wanted to do so. And then the other board is the Tree Commission. There were two people coming up on that board, and the gentleman on there did say that he would be willing to serve again. But the lady on there was not interested, and I have had a name turned in for that board.
Yeah, I turned in a name for that particular board, Miss Lee.
Mayor, that was all I had.
Okay. Any questions or comment, council?
Well, I'm glad to see that we're having another district meeting. I know how important that is to our citizens. I'm hoping Councilmember Day can turn out some, well, we all as a city can turn out some concerned citizen to come and hear our meeting on tomorrow evening. And that's at 6 p.m., right?
Yes, ma'am.
How would that play? Is okay because COVID-19 is still in effect. Those guidelines are still out there. Would that be okay, Mr. Hunter?
On what now?
I said those to the city meeting tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Those guidelines are still in effect. Would it be okay with the citizenry?
We're gonna make sure we follow everything that we're supposed to.
Okay.
All right. The guidelines, yes, sir.
And Mrs. Johnson, the difference is with this one and the other one is that there are some things by law that we have to have this meeting collectively all there based on dealing with some of the bonds and things. Am I correct, Steve? So that's the difference.
Yes, sir. We're approving the issue with the state revolving fund at this meeting, and those meetings
has to
confirming debt have to be done in person. You can't do those over Zoom, according to our legal advice.
And also, I'm sorry, Mayor. I was just going to say, and also with that meeting, on the notice that we sent out, we encourage the media and the public to view it by Zoom. Of course, it is open if somebody wanted to come. They would have to be spaced apart, and they would have to wear their mask.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. We highly recommend wearing face covering. Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Melanie?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We will proceed on at this point, and I'll come back to you, Mr. Hunter. But are there any items for discussion before we get into the agenda on for tomorrow? Anything for discussion? Okay. If not, we will proceed on with the agenda for tomorrow. As we all know and just heard, it will be at 6 o'clock p.m. at the 5th Street Youth Center. And we just went over the reason why we're meeting collectively instead of by Zoom. So that will start at 6 o'clock. And I will ask for today, in sake of saving some time tomorrow, if possible, that we ask all questions right now in the discussion, unless there's something that we can't forget and think about tonight. But I do want to encourage us to go ahead and ask all questions and make comments and discussion tonight or this afternoon, if it permits us to do so. So again, the meeting will start at 6 o'clock tomorrow, 5th Street South Youth Center. I will call the meeting to order. And again, we will ask Councilman Bailey to lead us with the prayer as well as the pledge. Mr. Bailey?
Sure.
And after that, we do have a proclamation that will be read by our clerk, Melanie Lee, and recognizing Family Week. So I will ask her to read that. And of course, as you all know, that no one would be there for that proclamation, but it will be emailed. And then again, we will proceed on under the city clerk. And council, I will ask for approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for the August the 31st work session, as well as September the 1st council meeting. And if it's the pleasure of the council, we will take those two in one vote. Okay? Is that okay, council?
That's fine.
Okay. And then after that, council, I will ask for a motion for the approval of the September the 1st call meeting minutes for the Canvas municipal election that we had at the Martin Allied Park Community Center. We'll ask for a motion in a second for the approval of that call meeting for canvassing of the election. Okay?
Okay.
Everyone's okay with that?
That's fine. Yes, sir.
Okay, proceeding on the city council. We will have an opportunity for any unfinished business if it presents itself. And from that standpoint, we will proceed on with the resolutions. And under the resolutions is under the administration. It's a resolution in reference to budget transfer for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. I will ask Ms. Clerk, Mrs. Lee, you've been called worse than Miss Clerk, but you are Miss Clerk because you are the clerk. But we will call for Ms. Lee to read that resolution, council, and after that, we'll ask for a motion in a second for approval. Okay?
Question.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the last page here, I do believe, and I noticed we got on the budget, and then we got over budget. Which one of these we used to? One said over budget, where it says $4,453,502.
That's under budget, Mr.
That's
Day.
yeah.
That's
On the
primarily,
budget?
yeah, unless it's shown as a negative number. If it shows as a negative number, then it becomes, we were over budget. But that's primarily because we budgeted for the $4.5 million worth of improvements to the wastewater treatment plant. Well, that's a 2.5, 3-year project, and we're just getting into that. So we still have funding left over that is unspent. We'll spend most of that in the next fiscal year, but it probably will carry over into fiscal 22.
Okay.
That's your question.
Budget or under budget in every department.
Yeah. For a total of 4.3 million.
Yeah, that's correct in the utility.
Okay, if you look at, let's see here, Somerville and Glenwood, Bridgewater sewage infiltrated plant, that came up to what, $1,462,368. Just those 3 projects. What was that for?
Yes, and the Bridgewater is the replacement of the sewer line there at Bridgewater Drive. The Somerville Road sewer is the force main that we put in from Glenwood School back to the city limits there, approximately about where Publix is, so that it opens up that entire north area for development, as we've discussed, before. And then you've got the lift station that will be taken out of service to turn that into a gravity-fed line, which will benefit the city in the future. Those are the capital improvements plans that the council approved for us last year.
Yeah.
Those are multi-year projects, and they take a long time to come to complete fruition.
Yeah, I noticed that. I remember the project, but I'm saying that those 3 items come up to that amount, $1,402,368, just over 3 projects. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay.
We'll be doing about $9 million worth of improvements over the next 2 years in the utilities, Mr. Day.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna say, Mr. Smith, he done brought out the magnifying glass now. Watch out.
He got his glasses on and his magnifying glass.
Yeah, it just shows he's doing his job and checking up on his facts.
He looking at them little numbers, and them little numbers were looking big.
Hey, the only thing I gotta say, just keep living and get to where I'm at. That's all.
Already got me one.
All right, any other question, comments, or discussion?
Only thing I would like to add is I think every one of those are actually costing us less than what we had figured they were going to cost us to begin with, if I remember right.
Well,
Yes,
the
sir.
way to look at it, we're on the
We haven't
budget.
taken bids on a couple of the projects yet, but on those projects that we have taken bids on, so far, they've been coming in under budget, which is always a good thing.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Council, proceeding on the resolution and also on the administration. We have a resolution in reference to providing Tier 1 benefits to Tier 2 plan members. We will ask the clerk to read that resolution, and I will ask for a motion and a second for the approval on that. Any questions, comments, or discussion, Council?
Yes, Mayor. There any way we could get Mr. Smith to elaborate on that for? I know the folks that work for the city and the folks' family, they'll be able to understand how that work.
Sure, be glad to, Mr. Day.
The retirement system. I understand.
Yeah, this is several years ago, back actually in 2013, the state changed the state retirement system from a one-tier system to a two-tier system, and those employees who came to work for the state or a state agency like a city or a school district came under Tier 2, where their retirement benefits were substantially reduced. And of course, that reduces the cost of the state and the various cities and groups. 2 years ago, the state came back and offered an alternative for cities and other institutions to go back to a Tier 1 system for everybody, so that your employee workforce, some of them wouldn't be under one plan and some under another. We've been reviewing this for the last several months. That areas that we compete with for employees, Opelika and Auburn, have adopted this and gone back to a Tier 1 system. And we're very concerned that if we don't do this, it would put us in an uncompetitive situation in hiring new employees, particularly in your public safety area, in your police and fire areas. You know, those are tough to recruit and hire to begin with, and we need to be competitive with the other cities in the area that are competing for this. It will involve about $54,000 a year for over a 10-year period to pay the back service cost, and that's to pick up those employees that were hired beginning January 1st, 2013 through today. And then there's about a $51,000 additional cost per year that will, on a go-forward basis, it's 0.32% or 32/100% additional cost to the city. It's a relatively nominal cost, and it will keep us competitive and allow us to hire, competitively with our sister cities in the area. And again, particularly in the police and fire department area.
Okay, thank you, sir. Be able to elaborate on that for us, for our citizens tomorrow.
Certainly.
Let's see what I got. Another thing here. Okay, let's say the Tier 2 retirement. If they get retired after they get 10 years at the age of 62, is that right?
And
60.
Yeah, I mean, I think let's say they come on and at a middle-aged person, and then once he get hired and he put in this 10 years and he reached the age of 62, he can retire.
Yes, based upon 10-year service. The way the retirement system is set up, they get 2 1/8% for each year of service, and the Tier 1 employees can retire at age 60. And so, if we adopt this ordinance, we'll bring all of our employees back into Tier 1, so that they'll be able to retire at age 60 with 10-year service, and they'll get a larger retirement than the Tier 2 employees would have gotten. It will increase the amount of retirement that any employees will get in the future, or any employees that were hired after January 1st, 2013.
Also, Steve attached a 25-year retirement to that, so it's not age 60. It depends on what age they are after 25.
That's what
also.
Yeah, you're particularly with your police and fire, and it allows them some earlier retirement at age 56. And again, we've got to stay competitive. to be able to hire, employees in this area. And when our neighboring cities adopt this, we don't want to be in a position of not being able to hire or losing, key people because we're not competitive in terms of our retirement benefits.
So
One
each
more
difference
thing.
plays a big difference in this thing.
Sir, it's a very substantial difference in the amount of retirement that the employee would receive.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Does the tier 2 plan just go away?
For the city of Phoenix City, yes, sir, it will.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Mr. Hunter.
Okay.
Proceeding on, council. We're under the building department. We have 7 resolutions in reference to awarding bids for the demolition and removal of structures on the following properties. Now, we'll read those out on tomorrow. It's 7 of those. And I will ask the clerk to read one master resolution. And if it's the pleasure of the council, we'll take them all in one vote.
That's fine. Yes.
Is that okay, council?
That's okay. I spoke for the council.
Mayor, can I say
You can't
something?
do that.
No, hold on, Mayor. I'm about to punch him.
You can't do that, Arthur.
Mayor, can I say something?
Sure.
Item number 3, 1701 12th Place South. I had a Doris Satterwhite and a Candace Satterwhite come see me this morning. I think they will attend the council meeting. I advised them they could not address council at this meeting.
No, we can't do that at the council meeting.
So just be prepared. Candace was somewhat emotional today, so.
No, that's not the place to do that.
Yes.
I appreciate you letting me know, but yeah, we've had to stop people professionally before, so.
That's right.
But again, I appreciate it, Gil.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Well,
Any
Gil,
comments?
can I ask you what? Yeah, what was their concerns, Gil?
They wanted more time, and we've been working on this thing since March 2017.
Yeah. No, we
Yeah,
can't
it's
do
come
that.
up before, and we've gone back, and Gil has given them more time.
Yeah, time's
Right,
up.
that's what I was fixing to ask.
Yeah, we had to be consistent. That's it.
All right. Any other questions, comments, or discussion, council? Okay. If not, proceeding on the engineering department. The first one is a resolution in reference to renewing bid E17-05 for traffic striping and markings with Ozark Striping Company Incorporation at the current contract unit price until September the 1st, 2021. I will ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and we'll ask for a motion and a second to approve. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion, council?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I looked at this list and what they, we've been doing business with them for a number of years. Is that right, Miss Angel?
Yes, sir, we have. They were the ones that got the bid in 2017, and in the bid, it allows us to renew it 3 more times. So they requested that we renew the bid, and we feel it's in our best interest to renew the bid instead of rebidding it.
So when we need them, they're available. Is that right? I mean, doing it this way.
We have to meet a certain amount of quantity requirements that are outlined in the bid. I mean, they're not going to come up just to do a stripe of a 100-foot lane, but they do all of our large projects. So they're readily available when we need them.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. Are they the one that conducting the striping on 431?
Yes, I believe that they are, Ms. Johnson. That would be up under a state project. They do a lot of work with ALDOT also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick question. Would this come up under, if you redid intersections and restriped intersections, turn lanes, things of that nature, would this be the company that would do that?
As long as we meet the quantity requirements, Mr. Bailey. There is another smaller company that's out of Columbus that can do some small hand jobs, and we have used them before when we don't meet the quantity requirements with Ozark, but they are the ones that did like 5th Street South, Downing Drive.
Fantastic job, yeah.
Well, on these small jobs, these small projects, who determines when they need to be done? Does somebody at the city notice that the intersections need to be restriped? And the reason I'm asking you that, I get a lot of phone calls from older people, especially like myself, like Mr. Arthur, that, at nighttime have a hard time sometimes seeing, some of the lanes because they've gotten old. The striping has, not us. And I'm just wondering if somebody at the city, writes this stuff down, or whether we just have a company come in and look at it. How does that proceed forward?
Any citizen, if they have an issue with some striping, if they can just call my office, we'll be happy to put into a work order. We do have our supervisors in the engineering department, we're out riding, and if we see an issue where we need to have it striped, we'll definitely put that on the list. But if you have any intersections or anything that, you feel like it needs to be striped, let us know and we can go take a look at it. And then, we could possibly use this bid to go ahead and get them in to do some traffic striping.
Okay, good. I need to know that. I get a lot of people call and ask me, like I said, right at dark at night, some of them have a hard time seeing, some of the intersections when you come up to a turn lane, where the turn lane starts and stops and things like that.
Yes,
So
sir.
that was my question. Yes, thank you. That answered it just right.
Okay, any other questions or comment, discussion, council? Okay. Next on the engineering department is a resolution in reference to rescinding resolution number 2020-198 in reference to an agreement with Provision Contracting Services, LLC. We'll ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and we'll ask for a motion and a second to approve. Any questions, comments, or discussion? And I trust that we all have seen why we are rescinding this one. So, any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay.
I told you he had that one ring.
If we don't have any questions, comments, or discussion, next on the engineering department C is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to enter into an agreement with JHC Corporation for structural repairs and reconstruction of the Riverwalk in an amount not to exceed $318,000. We'll ask the clerk to read that resolution, and the council will ask for a motion. I will ask for a motion and a second to approve. Any comments, questions, or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I know for a fact that we elaborate on this in our last meeting, but can we get somebody to reiterate on that tomorrow for our citizens? I know we elaborated the last time because this is a big dollar item and it need to be done.
Okay.
Yes, sir. This is the Riverwalk Timber Bridge project that we had that came in at
$18,000.
awarded would be $318,000. It's just $4,000 more than what we originally awarded. Like I say, it's very needed. The Riverwalk is used daily, so this is something that we do need to go ahead and make repairs to, so that our citizens can continue to use the Riverwalk after this job is done.
Can you elaborate on that for us tomorrow, Angel, for the citizen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
A question on that, Mayor. When we rescind the first one, will we need to tell the community, the citizens, why we're rescinding it? I mean, it's in the resolution, but when they see we rescind one and then we spend more, I just want to make sure that they understand that that company, basically wasn't licensed, within the state.
By state. Yes.
Right, to do that. And we didn't know that at that time, of course. So I just want to make sure that they understand that we just didn't, throw out one to bring in another.
No. Yes, we're gonna have to talk about it, but they wasn't, Gil go over that when we checked on them. Their particular license wasn't for this particular thing.
Yeah.
They have a license.
Correct.
So
Right.
we didn't
Particular
just have a license in this team. But it wasn't, you gotta have the different brackets they didn't fit this particular bracket.
Correct.
Well, Ms. Angel agreed to elaborate on that for the citizen
Mr. Day.
tomorrow. Yes, sir.
Hey, can I please?
Yes, sir.
I gotta I don't run this that way. We work as a team, and Gil was the person who had to check their license on this. So I had Angel and Gil to coordinate this. That's the way we do this. So Gil, you want to talk on that license? That's what I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking about today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we originally awarded the contract to Provision Contracting Services, we knew they had a general contractor's license. Their category was buildings under 4 stories. Okay, this is more of a transportation project. So they were really not supposed to bid on this project with their classification.
Okay.
Yeah, their
But again,
license, what you're saying is their license didn't cover this type of actual work. Right.
Exactly.
Correct.
yeah. Okay, Mr. Hunter, I understand that much. But what I was saying earlier, this is a large dollar item, and we had discussed this in the past previous meeting. But I was asking you, could we get Angel to elaborate on that part tomorrow for to remind the citizen this is very important, need to be done. As a matter of fact, it got to be done.
Yes, sir, we will, but it'll be both of them. That would be just like the question, what you want is same good question that Mr. Bailey asked also. But we have to address both of those things. It's simple, there's no problem to it. I got it together. They're gonna take care of it. You're gonna be
Thank you.
They're gonna take care of both of them.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, council proceeding on D, on the engineering department, is resolution in reference to renewing the contract with Columbus Quarry for bid number E18-03, aggregates at the current unit prices until October the 1st, 2021. So we'll ask the clerk to read that resolution, and we will ask for a motion and a second to approve. And this kind of falls in the same category as the first one on the A that could be renewed, correct? Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
Yeah. Okay. So we will ask for a motion and a second on that, okay, council?
Okay.
Okay. And next, on the engineering and department, excuse me, on the fire department, is a resolution in reference to declaring personal property as surplus and disposing of for the nominal sum of $1 and other valuable consideration to the battalion chief / fire marshal Mark Wells in recognition of his 16 years of public service. We will ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and we will ask for a motion and a second for approval. Any comments, questions, or discussion?
Can I ask something? I know on our marquees around town, when we have people that put in, 10 years, 15 years, 5 years and all that, we list them. Do we ever list in the retirees telling them thank you for the 20 years, 25, 30 years? Is that ever put up on those marquees? I just don't ever sit there long enough to see all the messages that are on it, but I'm just curious.
Yes, it's always a list. We always have a running list of the people on there coming up until the month that their dates on and stuff like that. But you're talking about people that's retiring or the ones that's retired already?
Well, as they're retiring, thank them for their service and all, yes.
Yes, sir. That runs on the boards throughout the city.
Good.
Yes, sir. It tells how many years they've had, coming up to anniversaries and stuff like that, and other people congratulate them on things like that.
Yeah. I just never get the traffic lights. I'll see them, and I just never get to sit there long enough, to see all the messages on it. But I was just curious. I know we put the others on there. I've seen them when we're, recognizing the service, and that's, if we weren't doing something like that, I wanted to make sure that, maybe we started, but y'all way ahead of me on that game. So y'all got that taken care of.
That's been in place. But the thing about it, we had with COVID, we had to hold up, and that's what we put back in place, make sure since we're doing this on Zoom now. And the other thing, this particular employee, shortly they did 16 years with Phenix City at the same time, this in the retirement system. This employee has worked not only with the fire department 2 different times in a continued flow, but they've worked also with the Phenix City Police Department and the Sheriff Department.
Correct.
So he's been in all of them. He's worked in all of them. That's how.
He's been in public service many years. Correct.
That's right. He's worked with both in Phenix City and with the Sheriff Department since he was a young guy.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, which is a great segue for the next one on the police department.
Yeah.
This is a resolution in reference to declaring personal property as surplus and disposing of the nominal sum of $1 and other valuable consideration to Mark Wells in recognition of his 16 years of public service. And that's what Mr. Hunter was alluding to, and we will ask the clerk to read that resolution, and we will ask for a motion and a second. Any question, comments, or discussion?
Like I say, this person's got this young man has a total of 25 years with the system though. It's just 16 of them was done inside of Phoenix City.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or discussion? If not, we will proceed on the Utilities Department, where we have a resolution in reference to awarding a bid to Rye Cars Construction LLC to replace the roof of a Building B at the water treatment plant in an amount not to exceed $150,857. Again, we'll ask Mrs. Lee to read this, and we will ask for a motion and a second on this. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
Mr. Hunter, what is that up there? Is that the water treatment plant up there? Still call it North Phoenix City. That has nothing to do with the storm damage because it was down south at the sewage plant. Is that right?
That's correct, Mr. Day. This is an older building at the water filtration plant up on the north end, and it's just an old roof that has, we've had some leakage problems over the last couple of years, and it needs to be replaced. And if you'll notice, it came in well under bid in terms of the budget process.
Thank you, sir.
It is just a portion of this building. We refer to it as Building B, not the entire plant. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's just the one building in the back where the chemical processes are taking place, and the filter medium back in the back. There's 3 buildings there, and this takes care of the back part. The front building is fine. We're not having any issues with that roof. It was replaced since this last one was done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Any other comments, questions, or discussion? Okay, proceeding on, council, on the ordinance, we do have a first reading. It's an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city $1,240,000 subordinate water and sewer revenue warrant series 2020-CWSRF-DL. We'll ask for the reading of this ordinance, and I will again get a motion and a second for that, and then ask for a motion and a second for the suspend the rules council, and we all know that has to be unanimous by all of us. And then I will ask for a motion to approve. Any question, comments, or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I would like for somebody, even Mr. Stephen Smith, to elaborate on that for a little bit for the citizen so they can understand what is going on this particular item here.
Certainly, Mr. Day, I'd be glad to do that tomorrow. This is, there's 2 portions of this project. One of them is almost completed. We're about 95, 96% done with the sewer line up Someville Road. And then the other one is taking out the lift station and bringing the line down south to make it a little more efficient in terms of running that system and from what we're getting in the North Basin. Again, this opens up our entire North Basin all up Someville Road for development, and we already have a subdivision being submitted underway. I believe it's 33 or 34 lots going in up there. So this is going to be a tremendous benefit to the city over a long period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions, or discussion, council?
The lift station that's being taken out, is it behind Saddlebrook or behind Summerfield? Where's it at?
Behind Saddlebrook there, sir. It's we've been having some issues with that lift station, and we met with the school system. We need to bring a line back across some school system property up there to be able to gravity feed that to the south, and then we've got a property owner that we're working with, and that will make that much more efficient, and it will reduce cost long term for the city and not having to operate that lift station.
Correct. Okay.
Well,
I
how
thought
would
it
that
was
have
behind Saddlebrook.
Okay, how would that have an effect on the pressure up there? It won't. Would they have an effect on the pressure, water pressure?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with pressure. This is strictly the sewer.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Melanie, were you about to say something?
I just had a question for Steve. I know normally on these kind of ordinances, we dispense with the reading, but am I to understand, Steve, we do need to read this whole thing?
That's correct. The attorney for the state that's handling this, Mr. Cantor, he's not comfortable with dispensing with the reading, and he's insisting that we read the end. I know I hate to do that to you, Melody. That's a long ordinance.
Yeah.
This is the attorney that represents the state of Alabama, and he insists that we read the entire ordinance.
Wow.
I don't have a problem with that. Y'all just, when we get to it, y'all just settle back because we're there for a while.
Yeah, I see. It's a lot of it.
Yes,
Man,
I'm glad it's you and not me.
I need to talk to the state attorney for that.
Any other questions, comments, or discussion, council?
That's a large one there.
Okay. So next, on the license application, we have a couple of first readings. The first one is an application for an on-premise beer license, an on-premise whiskey and wine license, billiard pool license, and dancing with the live band and jukebox license submitted by Haval or Danny, as he goes by Patel, for Kamala, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, 1981 Lodging LLC, doing business as Phoenix Flames Sports Bar and Grill, located at 1700 Highway 280 East, Phoenix City, Alabama. This is a first reading, and I will ask the clerk to do that, and I will ask for a motion to place on first reading. Okay, council?
Okay.
Any
Yes,
questions,
sir.
comments, or discussion? And if he's watching, please forgive me for mispronouncing your name. Any other comments, questions, or discussion?
I just have one question. 1700 Highway 280. Can someone put me in the ballpark exactly where is that?
That's the old AJ Sports Bar and Grill that
Okay.
with the old red roof in. It's
Yes.
now something else.
Yeah.
It's been closed down for a minute, and they're reopening under that new name.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
It used to be the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. I figured that was where it was. I just wanted to be certain.
So we're ready for you, Vicky.
I don't drink, Mr. Day.
Oh, Lord.
Well, you dance.
Next on the first reading is B, is an application for an off-premise beer license, off-premise wine
Yeah.
license, and off-premise whiskey and wine license submitted by Jim Hurston and Virginia Lynn Stevens for Convenient Management Incorporation, doing business as Stagecoach Package 1, located at 98 Stagecoach Drive in Phoenix City, Alabama. This is a first reading. We'll ask the clerk to proceed with that, and we'll ask for a motion to approve and a second for the approval of the place on first reading. Okay?
Where's that location at?
Discussion.
It's outside the city, out Highway 80, across from Winn-Dixie. It's a little side road coming off of Highway 80, Stagecoach Drive.
Oh, okay.
And this is a change of ownership. It's been in this liquor store's been there for a while.
Yeah. It's out in the police jurisdiction, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, police jurisdiction. That's right.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Okay. Well, at this time, I'd like to call on our attorney, Mr. Grant.
Mayor and council, we have two claims on the agenda for tomorrow evening. The first one is filed by Mr. Norris Randall. The location is 911 13th Street. It's the old Randall Tile Building. He submitted 3 estimates the lowest of which was $300. You've got Angel's memorandum showing that we did in fact have a crew with the limbs and debris division working in that area on that day, and that the crew leader was not aware of any damage done at this location. But under the circumstances, since we had a crew there and the window was broken, and the lowest estimate being $300, I recommend that we pay the claim in that amount.
Okay.
Mayor, I do just want to point out, my memo said that we had a crew working in that area on
Yeah.
Tuesday, August the 4th, and he claimed it happened Friday, August the 7th.
That's the question I was going to ask. How do you differentiate that? I mean, Jim? I mean,
Well,
right.
as a matter of fact, maybe he didn't find it till, the only thing I can think of is maybe he didn't find it until the 7th. But on a claim like this, if we deny it, and you know Mr. Randall, he'll sue us, and it's going to cost us more to defend the lawsuit, even if we win, than it is to pay it. But that's up to y'all.
No.
Yeah, I know Mr. Randall. I know him real well.
Well, it's kind of some ambiguity with it, but like you said, it probably costs more. Because I would tend to agree with. I would tend to agree with you, Mr. Brand, but
Yeah,
it's kind of some ambiguity there. But you know, it was the lowest bid, 388. So okay.
Well, and like I said, it's possible that he didn't discover it until the 7th.
Okay.
Yeah. I suggest that we go ahead and pay it, Mr. Graham.
But he's already recommended it off.
Thank you, sir.
So is Mr. Randall at the shop every day? If it was
No, it's closed.
It's cluttered.
Randall Tyler's closed.
Yeah, it's shut down, actually.
Yeah, it's no longer a functioning business.
Yeah, I know him. He lived down in my district.
All right, go proceed on, Jim.
Yes, so the next claim's filed by David S. Newsom. He lives at 403 Riverwalk Way, Phenix City. He had a problem that he called the city out. It was a water leak, and the city crew went out and advised Mr. Newsom that the problem was on his side, and it wasn't the city's problem. He hired a plumbing company to come out there. He had to pay him $188.10 for them to come out and look. They discovered that it was on the city side, and he wouldn't have incurred this expense if the city had not told him that it was on his side of the meter. And he didn't have 3 estimates, but he didn't know at the time he called these people out and paid them. You know, he thought it was on his side of the meter because that's what our crew had told him. And I recommend that we pay the claim in the amount of $188.10.
Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you this, just to make sure we're protected. So is it with him having already paid it, that would not have us liable of not getting 3 bids? It's what I'm hearing.
Yes,
correct?
that's correct. This is one of those, you know, extreme circumstances where something happens. We've had this happen before, and we've always paid it with just the one amount that they submit.
Yeah, we've had issues like this before. They're rare, but it does happen. When our crew went out to, or our technician went out to look at it, nobody was home yet the meter was spinning. And normally that indicates that there's a leak on the customer side. Well, it turns out that there was a faucet that was leaking or that was on inside, but the leak in the pipe was actually on our side once the plumber dug it up. And so it was our responsibility, and we did go out and fix it once the plumber had discovered that it was on our side.
Okay, my main thing was make sure we're not in a live position because of not getting 3 estimates based on.
No.
Paying.
No, sir, under those circumstances, we're not.
We're not. Okay, good. Okay,
And that's all I have, Mayor.
all right, thank you. So we do know is that tomorrow at 6 o'clock down at 5th Street South, and before that, Mr. Hunter, is there anything you like to add or take away?
No, sir, just encourage people to talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends. We're doing a heavy campaign on the sensors. You know, looking at the TV this morning,
Yeah.
It was pretty disheartening to look at the state of Alabama, but we've been doing pretty good here. I'm gonna ask Sean Culligan to go over some things that we put in place. I talked to him on last week, and he's been moving fast on helping with some things from the school system to help with the sensors. So the city itself has been heavily involved, and I know most of y'all have been talking to people. So we are trying to have a rush, but we had some good success last week, you know, and so Sean, will you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, yes, sir. So what ADECA has put together, so obviously, as Mr. Hunter said, Alabama is struggling when it comes to census numbers. And so ADECA has tried to encourage some participation with a unique style of program. And what they've done is essentially set up a March Madness style competition amongst the bottom 32 counties within the state. And so we're a part of that. We're close to the numbers that we've been in the past, but we need to exceed that much more than just being where we are. And so essentially what the program is they pit county versus county, and it's set up, like I said, like a March Madness Sweet 16 kind of deal. So we won last week against Butler County. So Russell County matched up against Butler. We won. Not only did we win, we actually came out of the 32 counties, came in second place with the greatest percentage of growth last week. And so this week we're against Tallapoosa County. We have got multiple different strategies that we're attempting to grow these census numbers, and we've seen some success so far at this point. But it's week to week. So next Wednesday will be our final day to be able to collect census numbers. And so what we're actually competing for is really for both Russell County and Phenix City school systems. And so if we continue to win week after week, the school systems can win a shared $65,000 from ADECA. If we actually win this week, they're guaranteed a share of $20,000. And each week after that, that amount increases. So the benefit for us is we get better numbers, and we know what that looks like. But the benefit truly here is for the school system as well. So the school system's partnered with us. The county commission's partnered with us as well in trying to increase these numbers. So again, we're pushing as hard as we can for the next 30 days. Well, really the next 20 days. So you should see plenty of advertisement coming your way. So please tell everybody that you see and everybody you know we need to get this moving as quickly as possible.
You know, I'm real concerned about this, and plus it's embarrassing. You know, I know we up under COVID, but like I said, there's some places where they have high as what, Sean, we talked about today, 80 and 90% participation throughout the country in some places. So we got to do everything we can to get people to get counted, because people expect things out of us as far as government funding. And this is one of the most important things that could help us. So we, you know, and getting the partnerships going and representing Russell County itself, you know, because the bulk of the citizens in Russell County is out of Phenix City. So it's very important that our citizens get out there and be counted.
And let me add this, Mr. Hunter, and one more thing. So we're going to use these numbers from a development perspective, from recruitment perspective. If we want more retail, if we want more businesses, we're going to use these numbers for the next 10 years. And so there will be estimates and things from now till 2030, but we need our numbers to be high, because they are going to tell the story as to what our growth is. And so really and truly, if I'm honest, we really don't have to grow that much, but have to participate really high to show significant growth within our county. So if our numbers are higher, we want to be on those top 10 growth lists within the state of Alabama. Those help us to get, you know, from our recruitment efforts.
All the way up to the federal level, dealing and keeping our seats in Congress and everywhere else, you know. If we don't show what we have, we're in trouble.
How does somebody that hasn't been counted, how do they get counted now? What do they have to do?
There are three ways. So you can do it online, which is the easiest for most people. And you can go to my2020census.gov and they could sign up immediately there. It literally takes, we advertise 6 minutes. It literally takes 6 minutes. Or they can call in, and there's an English line and there's a Hispanic line. So so you've got that option, or the mail-in. Mail-in is going to be a little tougher. But if I can get through Melanie, every one the links and the telephone numbers for you to pass out to your constituents.
Yeah, can she email those to us or send them to us, that information?
I can certainly get it to you. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
I'd like to ask the question, Sean. I know the city had a team at one time, and the county has a team. You guys work together, or just one team?
Well, you want to answer that, Sean? We, Mr. Day, the way I look at it is that we have a stronger team at this particular time, and we all have the bulk of the citizens in Russell County. So I put this task to Sean and them, and we're involved. You know, everybody don't participate, and we're involved, and Chance Corbett has worked with us a lot on this particular thing from the county perspective. So we're working it from here. You know, I've said before, if other people are not moving, we cannot sit on our hand. We have to move despite no matter what anybody else is doing. So I don't wait on, I'll be truthful to you, I don't wait on the county. But we represent the county.
Mr. Hunter, yeah, I understand that. The reason I asked that question, as you recall, I remember back in the day, we supposed to pick so many folks in the city. I mean, the county's supposed to pick so many folks on that team. That reason I asked that question. You know,
not for this particular thing here,
Not on this one.
Not on this.
Okay. Now another question I have on the $65,000 coming, you know, that going to the school system. Will they share it with any other school system?
To my understanding, Mr. Day, that's Russell County schools will get a check based on their student population, and then Phoenix City schools will get a check based on their student, I guess not population, enrollment. And how that breakdown is, I'm not sure. What they do with it is it's just for the public school systems.
Okay, thank you.
And see, Mr. Day, the way we look at things, and the way I look at things, I'm just gonna say that, and Sean, to tell you, I called him on this and had him to call the superintendents, because the superintendents and their principals are out getting kids and students in and out of cars. They're doing the best they can. They have a system where they can talk to people at home and send things out to the homes in the system. So it was the best way for it to work as far as communication throughout with our population of people. And it, you know, when you sit back and you think of things and these visions and the different things come to you, you have to put them in action. And that's what we've been able to do. And it proved itself last week already with, you know, people that's getting out there that we was, and we took care and we was the winner. And we got to continue to do that, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of distractions now. So this is something for us to do and get them to participate, because at the schools, they have their hands full. They really do. They're doing the best that they can. It is a tough situation. So anything that we could do from our perspective and from here, we've been able to do it. We just got through filming this morning. You want to tell them about that, Sean? We got to tape some things too.
Yes, sir. So we're going to be putting out tomorrow. We'll put out a one of our census videos, and then we'll come back later this week with our second census video. But again, it's us trying to tell a story as to what you've seen something similar before, but it's what this money is being used for. How can we use this money, and how does it truly impact each one of our individual departments, but us as a community? And so we'll push that video out, the first one out tomorrow, and the second will come. But we've got a lot of stakeholders involved in that video individually, talking the story as to what exactly that means to increase our census numbers.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
That's great. I couldn't be more proud of Mr. Hunter and your team for that collaborative effort. You and Sean and everyone. And I think we all has a responsibility. And as we continue to talk up until the last day that the president gets this information, everybody needs to be accountable and making sure that our neighbors, our friends, our family members, our co-workers, everybody has completed their census. So thank you for taking that approach and trying to reach as many people as possible. I will personally continue to share how important the census is, and hopefully we can get our numbers up. Because as being an Alabamian, I really felt embarrassed to know that we're at the bottom of the national response when it comes to that. And I know we're working hard because I've spoke with some teenagers, not really teenagers, there's young adults, college students who's out doing the census taking and making those phone calls and trying to get our numbers up. So we are, in a good position to come up. So continue. I'm just going to plead with everyone to make sure that our neighbors, and I think that's the best way to handle this. If you can hear us, you can see us. If your neighbor has not completed their census, please contact our city office, and we can make sure that that happens. So thank you, Mr. Hunter, and your team for that collaboration.
Well, Mr. Hunter, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You tell me, will it be feasible for Sean to elaborate on that at the end of the meeting on tomorrow evening?
Oh, we plan to talk about it, yes, sir. We're talking and we're talking everywhere, and we're talking to people. Like I say now, we was hand in hand with Georgia also. So it wasn't real nice this morning hearing on the news what we heard, who's at the bottom. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty bad. And I know we have been talking to people and trying, but I'm wondering what and I hear they've tried everything in convincing people, telling them this is not a tactic to find you and arrest you for something that you're in the class and here and there and trying to get your information and steal your information. Of course, I shared something with Sean earlier today, and that was that I remember when they at the courthouse when they was trying to find felons and different things like that years ago, they would call them up and say, you won the lottery or you got some money missing. And when they show up, they arrest people. That was years ago when they was doing things like that. And I guess some people still they have it in their mind, but it cannot be at this great of a percentage of people that's done something wrong. It cannot be, so it's just a matter of trying to get some people that can't get out, or if we can get them to get that telephone and call. If we can get the ones that got access to the computer, just take those 6 minutes. We did today, and they say, how do we change it? And that's just to get out there and try your best to fill it out. Take those 6 minutes and change things and put the information in there so you can be counted, because we have, like I say, we have a great relationship with ADECA, and I want to be able to maintain that relationship throughout, because it has really helped Phoenix City. It's helped a lot. And it put our name on the map throughout the state, but at the same time, when you're dealing with that and dealing with the state level and dealing with the federal level, it's embarrassing for us officials also to say you can't even get the city counted. You can't convince people to get out there. So it's going to take door-to-door campaign, and they have people, they feet on the ground, and they're going door to door trying to do, but this is going to stop at the end of the month, and we just got 30 days in this month, so we got to do everything. If anybody can make calls today, if any of y'all can make calls to talk to people, if people got elderly people living next door to them, a lot of people don't have access to the computer, but they do have a telephone. Yeah. Or they can, if we can get them to answer the door, when people come to the door and come there and stuff and talk to them, because it's dangerous too. So fighting to that. So any kind of way that we can help the people that's around us to help themselves as far as helping this city to be able to do things and gain funds that help change this city, that's what we got to stick to this campaign until the end.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Hunter, let me ask you a question, please. Now, how we working with the, like Canterbury Nursing Home down here, the facility on Lakewood Drive over there, those facilities there, are we working with the folks that are in the nursing home, the elders?
Well, it's a touch and go situation. The agencies are that's dealing with that as far as the residency and where they are and stuff, because we are dealing still with COVID.
Yeah.
So that is a hindrance in its own. So they're trying to work with that. But see, those agencies are people right there, and those addresses and the people here, that's an easy find to a certain degree, because they can have a list that's there and stuff like that, because they're in a location where you can get to them. if you got the administration that's in those locations that will give
Yeah, I
you
know
that
they
info.
have, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's real. That's not as tough as the people with the boots out there that feel in boots and marching and walking and trying to get the people and just trying to get them to talk to them. But it's very important. And you know, if this is any indication of what can happen when it comes time for voting, we definitely could be in trouble.
Now, Mr. Hunter, I know we have at least 16 to 1,800 folks down there at auto trade. I mean, or the auto trade. I almost said a chicken plant. How about that?
Well, you
But
can't
anyway,
count that, Mr. Day. You can't. That's almost the same as counting a church today. You
Yeah.
can't. You can't. You used to have neighborhood churches where people in the neighborhood
Yeah.
went. Look at the tags at Auto Trade, and most of
yeah,
those people from Georgia.
this is what I am getting to, Mr. Hunter. I'm aware of that. Quite a few of them live over there in Georgia. I'm aware of that, but we have quite a few that do live in Alabama that work down there.
Yes.
Mr.
But see,
Day,
that's
we
why
are-
we're trying to get these messages through their administration to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily myself or Sean being down there, but getting the message out to them. I understand that, but that's part of these households where they're knocking on doors and trying to get people to call in and stuff like that. That's part of our residency that live in this city.
Okay.
Some of them.
Mr. Day, in that same regard, we're focusing on apartment complexes and those kind of things too. Folks, places that have densely populated areas that we can get as many people as possible. And if you, I know not everybody has social media, nor do they have a computer that you're trying to reach. But one of the quickest and easiest ways that you guys can help if you do have social media is to go to Positively Phoenix City's social media Facebook page, and we have some posts that we've posted over the last day or so. Share those and just get them out to your following if you can. That would certainly help.
What
Yeah.
percentage are we at within the city being counted? Do you know?
We're a little over 60%.
Yeah.
Last number that I thought.
60%.
And the county's about 57.5.
10
Man,
years
we're way
ago,
down.
we ended at 73%. 10 years ago, we did. But, you know, the last time I talked to you all about it, we did go a little bit. We was at 58% at that
Okay.
time. So we have moved some, but we should be with like I say, the date is the 14th, 16 days. We should be ahead of that. So,
Well, the information that they ask for you is just, you know, how many people live in your household. I mean, it's nothing that is, you know, that you can't share with somebody. All that
That's right.
information is real simple, it's real easy, and it's not digging into anything that's personal. There's, you know, how many children do you have? How many adults live here? I mean, it's real simple.
that's right.
Part of our video focuses on debunking myths and misconceptions, and some of those are that they're not using this for intelligence. They're also not using this for you to get jury duty and those kind of things, which are a lot of the reasons people tend to shy away from it. So we did address that in one of the videos.
Well, good. But these numbers need to come up, because like you said, it won't come up again for 10 more years. 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Anything else? Any council, anyone?
No,
So again,
as tomorrow at our 5th Street South, our meeting, are we doing our city logo shirt? We need to,
Yeah, we wear those. I'm all right with that.
Which one?
the city logo, the city logo.
Okay.
all right, 6 o'clock, 5th Street South.
Yes, sir.
So with that, by the grace of God, we'll see each other tomorrow, and you all have a good rest of the today and the evening. And we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So with that said, we stand adjourned.